Imagine you're selling a platform that helps fast growing startups attract and hire top engineering talent. Every month, Hacker News posts a Who's Hiring thread, and there's hundreds of startups that comment and share their open roles. You'd love to reach out and introduce yourself as a fellow founder to all of these startups, but with hundreds of inline comments, keeping track in this way is a bit chaotic. What if you could automate this entire process? Welcome to the Unify YouTube channel and our series Outbound Plays, where in each episode, I'm going to show you how to take one creative outbound idea and how to automate it from start to finish. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use n8n and Unify to take any community forum and turn it into automatic meetings booked every single month. Let's get into it. Here we are taking a look at the Hacker News Who is Hiring post for March 2025. There's 522 comments here. As I scroll down, there's lots of great prospects for my product, which helps them with hiring and attracting engineering talent. But as you can imagine, filtering through this manually and filtering all the comments is a bit tedious. I'm going to show you how to completely automate this with n8n. n8n is a workflow automation platform like Zapier, but it has a much higher technical ceiling because you can write custom JavaScript, run parallel workflows, and even use this to create AI agents. The good news is that n8n has a lot of templates that we can use. So if we go ahead and navigate to the templates section, the one that we're going to use is called Jina. Scroll down and use the template called AI-powered web scraping with Jina, Google Sheets, and OpenAI the easy way. I want to give a shout out to Derek Chung, who made this template. And I also want to give a shout out to Charlie Barber, whose first video about this template inspired many of my own personal use cases. At a high level, this is the template. It's essentially an ETL or extract, transform, and load workflow. Jina does the extraction for us from the Hacker News site. This information extractor node does the actual transformation for us into the shape that we can use. And then we load that data into our Google Sheet. And that Google Sheet is what we then export to Unify, and then we run all of our automations from there. First, taking a look at this Jina fetch node, you'll notice that it will require the URL of the thing you want to fetch and header authorization. To set up the Jina node, you're going to go to Jina.ai, create a free account, and use the Jina Reader product. So what the reader does is you insert the URL of the information you want to extract, and it outputs it into a URL that we can feed into our node, which then generates LLM-friendly text. And that's how we're able to work with such unstructured data. So all you have to do is take the Hacker News URL here, and if you scroll down, paste it here, and the reader URL will come out. Click copy, go into your node here, paste it, and then make sure you set up header authorization with your API key for this to work. The second node is our information extractor. This is where we give it the shape of our data and what we want it to extract. The way we're going to do that is we're going to define that with a JSON object in the input schema here. And if you want, there's additional system prompting that you can add towards the end. If you're not familiar with JSON and this looks completely foreign to you, don't worry. There's a super easy way to get Claude to generate this part for you. And all it is at a high level, it's just the shape of the data. It's just you telling it what you want it to extract for you. So visually, if you look at this, you can see there's the name of the company, the URL of the company, the name of the jobs that they're hiring for. So there's already, you can visually intuit the structure of what you want to scrape, right? All we need is AI to write the JSON object for us. So the fastest path is we're actually going to take a screenshot of what we want to scrape. We're going to feed it into Claude, and we're going to tell Claude to use that screenshot to write the JSON object for us. And we're going to tell Claude exactly what we needed to scrape. Okay, so here's an example of a prompt you can write. Attached is a screenshot of a website I'm scraping. Create the JSON object to specify that I want to scrape. It's very important for our purposes that you get both the company name and the company website URL, because with just those two things, you can use Unify to enrich that and to prospect into these accounts. Perfect. So here's the shape of the JSON object that Claude returned. And it basically is just companies, and then it's an array of two objects, and these are the ones that it could see. The first is this Nomic Foundation company that's the same as in the screenshot. And the second is this stellar science company that's the same as the screenshot. So this is all we need. We're just going to go ahead and copy this and we're going to paste it into the input schema below. Don't forget to save. Now I'm going to open our split out node. So what this node does is it takes the data that was extracted and it splits it out into all the pieces that we need to put it into our spreadsheet in column and row format so that we can import that into Unify for the automation piece. The one thing to take note of here is on the left-hand side, this shows you the structure of the data. And you just want to make sure that the fields to split out field actually matches the structure. So as you can see, output is the first object and results is the second object. So we're just going to update this to say results. And let's test it to make sure that it's actually splitting it as expected. And it looks like this is correct. I'm going to save that. And finally, we're going to set up our Google Sheet. So all you have to do is connect your Google Sheet account and connect it to the sheet where you want to push the listings to. Since this is so clearly defined, I'm going to let it map the columns automatically. And that's it. Now I'm going to save this and run the workflow end to end so you can see it do its job. All right, workflow's complete. Let's take a look. And it looks like we did get the company name and the URL. Perfect. All right, we're going to use this to import into Unify. One thing I will call out is you might be wondering why there are only 15 results in here. I am on the free tier of Jina and I am rate limited. So I just wanted to call that out in case you suspected that the whole workflow wasn't working. With that said, let's go ahead and save this as a CSV and import it into Unify. So what's Unify? Unify is an all-in-one outbound automation platform that lets you take your most creative outbound ideas and bring them to life. The smartest teams are building super custom workflows like the one I'm showing you to book hundreds of meetings per month. Now, you might be wondering, why can't I just use n8n to send the emails? You can, but when you're running these kinds of plays at scale, creating tens of millions of dollars of pipeline, needing to book hundreds of meetings a month, that level of automation and scale is best handled by an enterprise platform like Unify. Let's take a look at the Unify platform. The first thing we're going to see when we log into the platform is the list of companies that we can potentially outbound. Navigating to the left-hand side nav bar here, we can see it's divided into 3 sections. The first section are the companies or people that we can outbound. The second section are the plays or automations that we can run. And the third section are our dashboards that show us what's working and not working so we can continue what works and turn off what doesn't. We're going to take the CSV that we exported and upload it here. Go ahead and give this CSV a name, click upload, and then map the company name and the domain and press finish. So here's our play for what happens with every single company and every single person that we extracted from the Hacker News post. A play is essentially a workflow, very similar to n8n, but this gives us nodes or blocks that we can use to run very custom sequencing types of automations. Unsurprisingly, the first node we're going to see is a trigger. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to qualify it based on criteria that we have about our ideal customer. I'm going to show you this AI agent in a minute. It's really cool. Then we're going to have the prospect node automatically prospect for people at that company that are in our ICP. Then we're going to loop through all those people and enroll them in the appropriate sequence. First, we're going to take a look at our AI agent qualification node. So this node is really cool. Essentially, it's an AI agent that's going to go through every single account in our list, and it's going to qualify it based on whatever criteria we need it to. For example, if we can only sell our product to people or companies that provide visa sponsorship, or if we can only service a US-based audience, these are the kinds of qualification criteria that our agent can handle and then return a true or false response. And then we can use those true or false responses to determine whether the lead is qualified or not qualified. So I just picked visa sponsorship and US-based location as arbitrary qualification criteria. But as you can imagine, you can qualify anything you need, and it can take care of that minutia for you. Now we're going to say for those that are qualified, we're going to want to prospect into the accounts. And what I love is that this prospecting node is also completely automatic. I don't have to go in and look at each one and find my ICP. Instead, I'm going to define my ICP in advance. Here I have two folks, engineering leader and manager plus, and CTO. These two personas I've defined once, and I can reuse them again and again throughout my plays. I'm going to show you what the engineering manager plus persona looks like. So in defining this persona, all I did was create the titles that I want to target. And what I liked about this is that there's other titles that are recommended in case you forget them. So engineering lead is one that sounds very relevant for me, and head of software engineering. So I'm going to go ahead and add that and update the persona. If I needed to, I could also add exclusions, and this is what allows us to get very precise. And in the future, if I run another play where I only want to target engineering leader, manager plus personas, I can just run the play and use that persona, and in the sequencing node, route them to a sequence that is relevant for them. So here, what we're going to do is route our engineering leaders into our head of engineering sequence. And just taking a quick look at this sequence, we're basically introducing ourselves, why we're reaching out, and asking to meet with them for a good reason. To build out this example a little bit further, we can get even more refined. And let's say if the company had both an engineering leader that we sold to, but also a recruiting leader that we sold to, and we wanted to speak to them about different things, we could just as easily create a recruiting persona, recruiting leader persona, and a custom sequence for them. And that's it. In just a few minutes, we're going to take the audience that we extracted, we're going to qualify it based on our qualification criteria of visa sponsorship and US-based companies. For those companies that are qualified, our prospect node is going to automatically prospect for us and reach out to the right people. We're going to loop through each person and route them into the right sequence. Now, it maybe took us 10 minutes to set this up once, but every month now, whenever there's a new post and hundreds of comments, we can run this play again and book meetings on demand. All right, I hope this video was helpful. If you're looking to bring in an automated outbound system like this, where you're taking these kinds of custom ideas and automating end to end, go ahead and click the book a demo link in the description, and a product expert like me would be happy to meet you on the call and bring your most creative outbound ideas to life. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video.